Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, ma'am. Good afternoon, sir.
Aishwarya,
Yes, sir.
have a seat.
Thank you, sir.
So Aishwarya, you were born in Madhya Pradesh,
Yes, sir.
Mandsaur, and you are working in Bareilly, Uttar Pradesh.
Sir, presently living in Bareilly.
Living in Bareilly.
Yes, sir.
You are not working anywhere.
No, sir.
Okay. Okay. So you have given your cadre preference to be Madhya Pradesh.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And your optional is geography.
Yes, sir.
And you have done your BTech in electrical engineering.
Yes, sir.
And chess is your hobby.
Yes, sir.
Playing chess. You have also worked as deputy head boy.
So that was during my school days.
School days. And cricket also is your.
Yes, sir.
hobby.
I have been a part of cricket
Part of the
university
cricket.
team in the session 2016.
Okay. So of recently, we had a huge power shortage in the country,
Yes, sir.
and still is continuing.
Yes, sir.
And different states of this country were reeling under that shortage. So were we not prepared for it? What was the reason why there was a shortage suddenly?
So this shortage was due to two reasons, both due to supply and demand side. Suddenly, due to onset of summer and heat waves, the peak demand has suddenly increased. For example, India recently touched 201 gigawatt of peak demand. But main problem was due to supply side. There was coal shortages in the country due to ongoing Ukraine crisis, as well as there were transportation issues that the railway rakes that used to transport the coal from one place to another were not available on time. This was the reason that certain power plants faced shortage of coal and could not keep up with the demand that were being.
So the power plants were importing coal from outside?
Sir, the coastal areas, the power plants that are in the coastal areas used to import the coal from the foreign countries. But due to Ukraine crisis, the imported coal became very expensive. So they shifted to the domestic supplies. But since they were located far from the sources, the railway rakes that were used to transport the coal took time, and they were not able to cater to the coal demand of every
And
thermal
many of
power
the
plant.
passenger trains were also cancelled.
Yes, sir.
As a result thereof. Okay, tell me why the voltage is generally in the multiple of 11? 110,
Yes, sir.
220, 440.
Yes, sir.
Why is it in multiple of 11?
Sorry, sir, I am not
aware. You can go and read it.
Yes,
There
sir,
is
I will
a
read.
scientific
Yes,
explanation
sir.
for that. What do you understand by 3 nines, 4 nines, 5 nines in terms of quality of electric power? 3 nines, 4 nines, 5 nines. Have you heard? Do you
Sir,
know
I
that?
heard about it, but I am
You have
not.
heard about it.
But I am not.
So if it is 99.999% pure quality, then it is 3 nines. If it is 99.9999, it is 4 nines, and similarly 5 nines. So as you go ahead, the quality of power also improves.
Sir, I'll read more about
Yeah,
it.
we
Thank
can
you,
read
sir.
that. What do you understand by Queen's Gambit?
Sir, Queen's Gambit is a opening in chess in which we use e4 as our opening, and we sacrifice a side pawn in exchange of a frontline pawn of the opposition.
Okay. Now, there was a web series also on this.
Yes,
so
sir.
what was that about?
Sir, it was about how a girl in the 1960s, when this game was dominated by men, how a girl from a very modest background broke that stereotype and became the world champion.
Okay. Now, tell me, do you think commercialization of cricket, which is taking place, is it the correct thing? Should we do that? It is leading to many, there are many pros and many cons also.
Yes, sir.
People, first of all, they have, yeah, and after 20 overs, people have lost interest in the test cricket and all those things. And then in IPL, you have teams consisting of people from different countries.
Yes, sir.
So what do you think about this commercialization of cricket, bidding process for the cricketers and so on?
Sir, I think commercialization of cricket has raised the standard and the competitiveness of the cricket, and has established the cricket as a world sport. With this has also led to improvement in the technologies in the cricket, the investments in the cricket. So it has overall promoted the sports. But yes, sir, there are some apprehensions, various apprehensions regarding this, regarding the auctions, regarding the betting, These are the apprehensions. But sir, overall, I think that commercialization has helped cricket, and it can help other sports as well.
Okay. Now, tell me, why do you want to come to civil service? Simple question, but you have to give an answer.
Yes, sir. So first of all, it's a very good career path. It offers us the opportunity to work in various diverse fields, as well as provide us with a set of challenges on a day-to-day basis. Plus, it has an element of public service. If we are able to perform our task, whatever we are given in the civil services, to the best of our ability in an integral manner, then I think that the element of public service is what provides you the satisfaction in the end, and that is one of the very strong driving force for me to join civil services.
Okay. Anything else connected with some uniqueness about the public service, that is the civil service? Some of the points which you have said are unique.
Yes,
Any other thing regarding governance or any other aspect that you are going to occupy different stages of governance?
sir, I think the connection with the various places, for example, connection with the public, with the political executive, with the businessman. So bureaucracy has that unique position where they can connect with everyone and can act as a link between them. So that a policy continuation can be carried out in a very smooth manner and overall development of the country.
Okay. Now, many times we write as Bachelor of Engineering and sometimes we write Bachelor Technology, BTech and BE. What is the difference between the two? Sometimes the degrees are written BTech.
Sir, I think that Bachelor of Engineering is generally provided by the foreign universities or the colleges, whereas local colleges and that they provide BTech. It's a, sorry, sir, I am not exactly aware, but this is what I have heard.
Okay, what do you understand by geopolitical and geo-economic factors influencing our foreign policy? And can you give some examples of that?
So geopolitical is the political maneuvers that are happening due to geography as the core, mm, due to the geography as a core factor. For example, if I talk about India, then the land route to the west passes through Afghanistan. Therefore, Afghanistan provides a very crucial juncture for India, and India is actively pursuing the same through various connectivity projects. So this can be a geopolitical reason. And sir, as far as geo-economic is concerned, it is related to the economic prospects of a particular geography. For example, we import uranium from Kazakhstan. Therefore, it can become a very geo-economically important country for India because we lack uranium as a fuel that can aid our nuclear power plants.
So that means that there will be no permanent friends or foes. There will only be permanent interests.
Yes, sir, to some extent, I agree with this statement.
It will keep on
That
changing depending
the
upon
dynamics, as the dynamics changes, we should keep our national interest at the forefront and deal by case basis.
Okay, my last question to you would be, while the war is going on, Russia-Ukraine war, which are the countries which may be actively taking part in the background to bring about mediation between the two countries?
Sir, one is, I would say, India. During Operation Ganga also, India did try to connect both the sides. One can be India. And sir, to some extent, I think China also is propagating, has also offered to mediate between the two.
So the closeness of China with Russia, does it ring alarm bells for India?
Yes, sir. Definitely, there are some apprehensions that Russia coming close to China can create some issues for India because India is heavily dependent on Russia for their arms. So that can affect our national security as well. Apart from that, there are very strategic projects with Russia. For example, it is aiding in our nuclear power plants, in our energy security needs as well. So if it comes close to China, since China has been hostile towards us, it can cause a variety of concerns for India.
The biggest example of globalization can you give in this world? One of the biggest examples of globalization.
Sir, I think digitization, the upcoming of the digital age, which has IT sector that has connected majority of
and amongst nations, the example of globalization. Can you give? What do you talk about EU?
European Union, yes.
Was it not an example where countries, they decided to come together in terms of many common denominators?
Yes, sir.
So it was a case of, rather than looking after their personal interest,
Yes, sir.
which was Mr. Trump's policy during the last election. And do you think Britain is lamenting or repenting over the fact that they decided to exit the European Union?
Sir, Britain has tried to test this policy. It has both pros and cons. But since this was based on a referendum, that people's choice, I think whatever decision they have to take, they have to deal with it. But yes, sir, it has the leaving of Britain from the European Union has both pros and cons.
Right.
Thank you, sir.
Was Turkey instrumental in some negotiations between Ukraine and Russia?
Sorry, sir, I am not aware
No
of
idea.
this.
Okay, leave it. Now, tell us what the Sardar Patel's dream for the civil service. What was his vision?
Sir, Sardar Patel has called civil services as the steel frame for our country, and
What qualities actually he prescribed? These will be the qualities in the civil service, the officers.
So first and foremost, I would say
The qualities which he actually wanted.
sorry, sir, I am not aware of what he talked about in respect of the qualities.
Then what you were telling? You were about to tell something. What was that?
Sir, I think I was making in general statement, but not in case of Sardar Patel.
Only
Sorry, sir.
specific to Sardar Patel's.
Sorry, sir, I am
which
not
are
aware of this.
For the civil service. Okay, we leave it. Primary education and primary health services are very important in the
Yes, sir.
country. Now, tell us who provides these two services? Primary health, primary education.
Sir, I think there is a hierarchy maintained from center to states and to the local
Within the
administration.
state government, center is not involved. It is
Yes,
the
sir.
state subject.
Sir, state government formulates the plan for that, and district administration implements them on the local base.
District
Areas.
administration implements means who? In district administration.
So the district magistrate and
District magistrate has nothing to do with primary education and primary.
sir, but there are cases where infrastructure development can take place through sanctioning only.
Infrastructure development is not by the district administration. What do you understand by district administration? What is the district administration? Can you just tell us?
So district administration caters to the daily.
Yeah, but what is district administration first?
So
It consists of what?
So district administration consists of the bureaucracy that implements the.
What bureaucracy means? Who? Who in the bureaucracy?
So the civil servants in the various departments.
Which departments?
So like municipal corporation and.
Municipal corporation.
Sorry, sir, I have to look about the hierarchy of the district administration. What
No,
is it?
hierarchy. Tell us the departments or officials in the district administration.
So the political executive is selected by the people.
No, I don't want that answer. I want this answer.
Sorry, sir, I am not able to comprehend as of now. I'll read more about it.
What is the Panchayat Raj institutions?
So Panchayat Raj institutions are the third tier of our government that formulates and implements the plan at the Panchayati level. This was constitutionalized by 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act 1993.
Panchayati level means?
So at village panchayats level, they implement the government schemes and.
At village panchayat level only?
No, sir. This is the lowest level of implementation of the government schemes and policies.
I didn't understand actually. Lowest level of government means what? Where we can find these Panchayati Raj institutions? Tell us.
Sir, at at village level, we can see the implementation of Panchayati Raj.
No, implementation will come after that.
Yes, sir.
First, tell us the institutions. So who is there at village panchayat, village level?
Sir, village level, Gram Sabha is at village level.
Gram Sabha.
Is at village level. It is. Sorry, sir, I'll have to read.
It is
more
Gram
about this.
Panchayat.
Yes, sir.
Then at taluka level, which will be the body at taluka level?
Sorry, sir, I'm not able to recall.
Okay. Now, who conducts the election to the local bodies?
So, State Election Commission conducts the election at the
How
local
it
body.
conducts? Yeah, how it conducts?
Sir, it conducts through the returning officers. It has its own machinery to conduct the election of the
What is
local
that
body.
machinery? Yeah. What is that machinery?
Sorry, sir, I am not aware about the election machinery of local government.
You are aware of the election machinery for the assembly election?
Sorry, sir, I'll have to read about it.
Okay.
Aishwarya,
Yes, ma'am.
chess.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, if I play e4,
Yes, ma'am.
what will you play? I'm white.
Ma'am, I have different options as per where I
If
will.
we are playing Gico piano,
Pardon, ma'am.
Gico piano, if we are the opening is Gico piano, then what will you play?
Sorry, ma'am, I'm not aware
Not
of this
able to.
opening.
Okay. Now, how would you describe chess as a game? What is it?
Ma'am, I would classify chess as mental sport, which provides a very good exercise for mind as well as logical ability to play in a comprehensive manner.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now, what is being done on the board? What kind of a strategy?
Sir, ma'am, it is related to how we arrange our pieces and place them in such a way that we can gain a strategic advantage over our opposition.
It's a war game. Where
Yes,
did it start?
Ma'am, origin of chess started in India, but in a different form. It was started in the form of a game Chaturang, where a vice minister originated this game for his king, so that he can explain the importance
The
of
war
each and every
strategy.
to him, and explain the importance of each and every person in the empire to the king.
Okay. Now, you have been member of the university cricket team.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Why does cricket attract so much of sponsorship and not any other game?
I believe that the head start that cricket got after our 1983 victory made it very popular among Indians. Since India is a very huge country with a huge population base, as the cricket become slowly popular in our country, this is after privatization, when the multinational companies have started coming into India. They saw this as an opportunity to propagate their brand through cricket.
And that is why so much of sponsorship.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay. Since international relations is your third choice, my question is, do you think the UN and its bodies are losing their relevance today? There is need for reforms, or they should be totally banned? Not banned, but kind of they should be wound up.
Ma'am, I beg to differ on this.
Okay.
I think that European Union nation, through grouping, have provided them with a sense of security as well as cohesiveness. So yes, there are some issues, for example, some economic issues that some countries are facing, and some geopolitical issues that other are facing. But I think
Let's take the example of the virus, the Wuhan. What was the role of WHO then?
Ma'am, WHO has declared the role of WHO is to integrate this whole world and different countries to the latest information available to them regarding any health hazard and proper health practices for the same. Although it is being there are some apprehensions that they have delayed in declaration of pandemic and has not been totally fair with respect to their treatment of China. But I think still it's a very important institution that can be a game changer in the integrated health system of the world.
Now, let us look at the Russia-Ukraine war.
Yes, ma'am.
They haven't been able to bring them to the peace, negotiations so far.
Yes, ma'am.
So, how relevant are these organizations? Changes, reforms, or total disbanding?
I think these institutions provide an international platform where countries can come and build a consensus together and put their grievances. In the absence of such institution, such communication can reduce and which can further cause very problems. Although they are not able to bring war to the rest as of now, but still they provide a communication link for us to negotiate in a better manner, which can be successful in the future.
All right. The Prime Minister's forthcoming visit, are you aware of?
Yes, ma'am. He is going to Nepal
Yeah.
at Lumbini.
Yeah.
During
So what is this Buddhist diplomacy which is now following?
Ma'am, Buddhist diplomacy is related to making people to people connect with those countries which have Buddhism as their religion or had a rich culture of Buddhism. This can help India to gain a soft power over these countries and can build good relations with them.
Okay. Now, geography is your optional.
Yes, ma'am.
If I say there is a 3-degree rise in sea level, would there be any safe place on Earth?
Sorry, ma'am, I'm not aware about any actual data related to this. But yes, 3 degrees centigrade can really increase the sea levels. But I am not exactly aware about how much sea level would it rise due to increase in the 3 degrees centigrade.
What will happen?
And sea level will definitely rise and will submerge the many coastal communities, many islands. This will happen if temperature is risen to about 3 degrees
Please
centigrade.
read on this. Read the IPCC latest report.
Yes, ma'am.
Because geography is your subject.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, when is the flag hoisted and when is the flag unfurled?
Sorry, ma'am. I'll read more about
Okay.
it.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Karishankar.
Okay, Aishwarya, what is the meaning of your name?
So it means prosperity.
Prosperity.
Yes, sir.
What is the two words which connect this name? It's connected with Ishwar. It comes from Ishwari. The overall prosperity and happiness associated with the Almighty,
Yes, sir.
the Ishwar.
Thank you, sir.
So it's not exactly prosperity, it's overall well-being associated with the Almighty Himself. Now, tell me, what is the difference between strategic advantage and tactical advantage?
Sorry, sir. I'm not aware about this.
As a game of chess?
So, if I talk about chess, then strategic advantage is some long-term advantage, where tactical advantage is confined to a particular point.
Yes.
For example, if I'm pinning my bishop after the king and one piece is in between, then it can be said as a tactical advantage. But if I follow a strategy due to which I am ahead of one pawn or one or two pieces, then it can be said as a strategic advantage.
You said that in a Queen's Gambit,
Yes, sir.
you sacrifice one of your pawns.
Yes, sir.
What is that?
So it is a strategic advantage.
It's a tactical loss to gain strategic
Advantage, yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Now tell me, what is the difference between free trade agreement and customs union?
So free trade agreement is an agreement where we import the trade is done at a very low duty. For example, if I have a trade agreement with some other country and if I'm importing the goods from it, then it is done at a very low tariff. This will encourage the trade between the two countries.
Is it at low tariff or zero tariff?
So at low tariff, not exactly at zero. There can be some items at zero tariff, but it has some items at low tariff.
Okay.
And sir, I am not aware about customs union, sir.
Customs union is totally zero tariff.
Okay, sir.
The goods move from one country to another without any tariff. Okay. Now, tell me, what is the role of geography in Ukraine-Russia war?
Yes, sir. Sir, Ukraine is located at a very important point, which can be said as a buffer between the Russia and the Western countries which are part of NATO. So, if Ukraine is occupied by NATO, or sorry, if Ukraine joins NATO, then it will bring NATO to the doorsteps of Russia
Okay,
and
so
can
that
have
is
security
that
threat.
is one geographical point.
So
What
second
else?
is Russia has majority of ports as cold ports, but Ukraine has warm ports which can give its all-round access to the sea to Russia. So by annexing Ukraine, it can get access to two warm ports, one being Sevastopol that was through Crimean crisis, and one Mariupol. These two ports can be very significant for Russia. This can be.
And what about Odessa?
Pardon, sir.
Odessa.
Odessa.
Sorry, sir, I'm not.
Another port.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that is the second thing.
Yes, sir.
Warm water port. Then what?
Sir, apart from this, Ukraine has a very good agricultural land that produces huge quantity of wheat. Due to this, it's this location. It has good agricultural produce. That can be also one of the reason to occupy Ukraine.
Any other geographical region which plays a part in that?
Sir, the gas pipelines that Russia supplies to the European countries that passes through Ukraine, some of them. So, by gaining control of the Ukraine, the tariff can be controlled in a very better manner, and that can lead to cost cutting for Russia.
Are you sure they're passing through Ukraine? Gas pipelines?
So that's what I have heard, but I have to read more.
Then the strategic advantage will be with Ukraine.
Yes, sir.
Okay, anything else? There are many more points.
Yes, sir. I'll read more.
So the geography plays an important role in this situation.
Yes, sir.
Now tell me, what is, in case of India,
Yes, sir.
it is said the history of India is substantially influenced by its geography.
Yes, sir.
How?
Sir, first of all, India is the largest peninsula with a huge access to sea routes. So this was one reason how the Europeans arrived to the India.
Europeans arrived, they arrived not yet.
This was
Second is we shipped our goods through those routes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And sir, in the northern region we have Himalayas. That has also influenced the international relation in the earlier period with the invaders from China unable to come to India.
Okay.
That Himalayas has been a protective shield for us.
Okay, that's another point.
Apart from this, sir, due to various ranges and various river divides that India has been blessed with, there has been the development of different types of culture. For example, Vindhyas in the north, so one civilization.
Vindhyas are mountains, not
yes. Sir, I was talking about ranges only. Due to multiple ranges, the different cultures developed in different parts of India.
What else?
So, sir, yes, sir, I'll try to read more.
You have a vast network of rivers.
Yes, sir.
Which provide very fertile land to the country.
Yes, sir.
So India has very fertile plains.
Yes, sir.
Then we have plateau in the south, which is surrounded by what? Eastern Ghat and Western Ghats.
Yes, sir.
That's another important geographical area.
Yes, sir.
Then what? Our opening is mainly in the northwest.
Yes, sir.
Which provides through the land.
Yes, sir.
Essentially. So there are many points.
Yes, sir.
Now my last point is, there is a UN report titled "Our Common Future." What does it mean to you?
Sir, I'm not aware about this process.
Sure. Think about it.
Sir, I'm not able to recall as from the report.
What is sustainable development?
So sustainable development is a concept in which our present actions are taken in such a way that it can be sustainable for a long time to cater to the present generation as well and to cater to the future generation as well.
So where does this sentence come from?
Sir, this was first coined in the Stockholm Conference 1972.
What was the Stockholm Conference? What was the name of that conference?
So, sir, I will read more about it. I am not aware.
This sentence comes from this report of UN.
Okay, sir.
Read about this,
Yes,
our
sir.
common future.
Yes, sir.
You will get it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Aishwarya, tell me something about the battery technology. Do you think, firstly, tell me how the graphene battery is an improvement over the lithium ion battery?
Sir,
Have you heard of the
yes, sir.
graphene battery?
Yes, sir. I have heard about it. I am not aware about the technical specification, but I have broadly heard about it that it
Okay.
has higher energy density and they are more durable. Like we have recently.
So, what determines the durability? What is that mechanism?
Sir, can I explain this with an example?
Yeah.
Sir, presently we have been witnessing have been some explosions in the electric vehicles.
Okay.
These are due to because the electrolyte is flammable due to physical stress, due to thermal stress, or due to overcharging. This liquid can catch fire and can lead to explosion. If a battery is designed in such a way that these three stresses can be controlled, then I think a battery can be said as more durable.
What
and
is the
better.
physical stress? How does that take place?
Sir, for example, if we are in an accident,
Okay.
then the collision can cause damage to the battery
Oh,
and
I
the
see.
electrolyte can leak and that can also cause an explosion.
Okay.
In
Okay.
case of thermal stress, more heat, in case of more heat, again electrolyte can lead and can lead to flame.
But these are dry batteries, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
The car battery,
Yes, sir.
which is proposed to be used in the cars,
Yes, sir.
are they dry or are they got a liquid electrolyte?
Sir, I'll have to read more on this.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Section 124A, sedition.
Yes, sir.
What is your view on its present status, and do you feel that it has continued on the statute book far too long than it should have?
So the present status is that Section 124 criminalizes sedition, uh,
Yeah, obviously.
inciting
Yeah.
hatred against government through representation, signs, and symbols. I think, sir.
Sign symbols and others, or any other.
Any other representation? Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sir, I think that sedition is important, but if it is used in a very pragmatic manner, means only in those cases where incitement is through violence and is not misused, then I think sedition.
So, what is the crux of the issue?
Sir, there have been many instances of misuse of sedition against curbing the dissent as well. So, sedition has been misused, but it has been an important tool in curbing the insurgency as well. So, I think if we use sedition in a limited manner, then it is a good law, but rest is up to the government. They have also said that they will reconsider the law.
What was the background of this enactment?
So, yes, sir.
There is a historical background.
Yes, sir.
Now, that historical background has history since it was enacted. A lot of water has flown under the bridge.
Yes, sir.
So, what is the compulsion for its continuity? That's what I'm asking.
Yes, sir. So during colonial times, it was enacted to curb the speech against the government. But in the independent India, it was deemed, because at that in the early stages of independence, it was deemed that it is important for the security. Since India was a recently independent nation, it was important for the integrity of
What
India.
is the harm if there is in a democracy, you can criticize the government?
Yes, sir.
So law is basically aimed, its main theme is that prevent any such activity against the government, not state.
Yes, sir.
Isn't it?
Yes, sir.
So that's the crux.
Yes,
criticizing the government is no crime. I
Yes,
mean, you
sir.
can always do it.
Yes, sir.
Isn't it? But you are visited by the punishment on account of this.
Yes, sir.
And therefore, a large question has arisen now.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Geography can be both bane and a boon.
Yes, sir.
With the example of Africa, please explain this.
Sir, if I talk about countries like Sudan, these are landlocked countries and they are located at the Sahel region where the resources and the precipitation is also very less. So they are now facing the food crisis and water crisis due to the lack of resources. So for them, their geography is bane, and for many landlocked countries per se, not having access to sea is a bane because they curb their trade potential.
Okay.
If I talk about boom, then I will take the example of United States of America.
Okay.
This
How?
this has been an isolated country which has protected it from the invaders. Meanwhile, while others were fighting with each other, and with abundant resources, this has provided them to develop in a very rapid manner and today become a superpower.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, so we'll take you back, Aishwarya, for a few moments,
Yes, sir.
and we will call you back for giving our feedback to you.
Yes, sir.
Just wait in the
Yes,
waiting room.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am.
Have a seat, Aishwarya.
Thank you, sir.
Aishwarya, when is your interview, please?
Sir, 23rd.
Okay. This is the first time you will be appearing
Yes,
at
sir.
the CSE.
Yes, sir.
How many mocks have you attended before?
So 5.
5.
Yes, sir.
And how many more to go?
So 2.
Okay. Earlier years also you have been attending mocks?
No, sir.
This is the first time you are attempting?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, so tell us, how do you think you performed at this mock interview?
So I made blunder as far as the questions from the sir was concerned, and I somewhat lost momentum as well. That's what happened. But I think I could have done better and framed my statements better and brush up on some areas.
Okay, so Aishwarya, there is nothing to feel pessimistic about. You are good, there is no doubt about it. Many of the questions you were able to come out very well with the answers. Of course, there are always some questions which one is not able to reply. But since time is there, still the time is there. You still have almost 9 days. No,
7 days.
7 days. Even then, 7 days is good enough. And so let me tell you about some of your areas where you will. So Bareilly, Mandsaur, Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh.
Yes, sir.
You have to prepare very well on this.
Yes.
What are the, and then you have to prepare from the point of view of statistics.
Yes, sir.
So the issues related to the agriculture, issue related to industry, power, irrigation. Then what are the prominent places of interest, tourism, then some of the archaeological sites. What is ailing in the state of Uttar Pradesh or Madhya Pradesh? Also the social evils or social practices. What are the food habits? What are the dress? What is the culture? What is the music? What are the dances? All these things. So prepare very well. And regarding both the states, one general question I will say that sometime a question may be asked that if you are posted in your district, say Bareilly, if you get into civil service, what are the 3 priorities that you will first of all like to take care of? Okay. Similarly, a question may come that if you have to sell your state to a foreigner investor, what are the strengths that you are going to tell about your state? So prepare in respect of both the states.
Yes, sir.
Geography, yes. So anything connected with geography. So why does the cyclone come on the eastern side of this country, not so much on the western side?
Yes.
Which part of this our country is going to be submerged because of the rise in the ocean levels? Now, rise in the sea levels will take place because the rise in temperature is ultimately going to melt the glaciers.
Yes, sir.
So it is the temperature rise. Because of that, the melting of the snow will take place, and that is why the sea level are going to rise.
Yes.
And sea level will naturally inundate some of the areas. So understand that the first country to be submerged under the sea would be Tuvalu, Tuvalu. It is a population of about 11,000 people. Already 50% have already been evacuated from there, and they totally clearly say that it is the fault of the developed nations because of their coming out with economic this environmental degradation that we have reached this situation. So what are the visible effects of climate change, which is there? And of course, read IPCC report. What are the UN, United Nations organization, which looks after, supervises the environmental affairs?
Yes,
and also understand which are the um, congregations, meetings of nations which have taken place in the recent past, Paris and Rio plus 10, Rio plus 20, all those
yes,
things you study. Then geography, many issues connected with geopolitical and geo-economic consideration. I had asked you that question. Some questions, other questions were also asked by the panelists also. So prepare them well. And then simultaneously the things connected with Russia-Ukraine war. I had asked you about a country which is probably trying to mediate, and a hint was also given regarding Turkey also. So you can read about that Turkey's role also in that. And then what is the supply chain disruption which is taking place because of this war, and why India had to initially started with exporting wheat, and why it had to stop in between, because the prices, the shortage of wheat was likely to occur because of the rising temperature, as a result of which the production was likely to be much less. And second thing is that understand Atmanirbhar Bharat.
yes,
Because that is something which is now country after country are only thinking about protectionism, so worrying about their own country. Though India in COVID-19 case, the vaccine diplomacy which it had, that was something which was of sort of a globalization. It exported vaccine to 100 countries, but now the trend is that everyone is caring for its own. So therefore, self-reliance is absolutely essential. So PLI scheme, Startup India, Stand Up India, and many such incentives have been given for investing in this country by the foreign companies, and also lessening our dependence on the foreign companies, even in areas like defense production. And many areas have been opened up to the private sector. So understand the privatization policy of the finance minister. Also go through the budget provision and the economic situation in the country, special reference to the inflationary tendencies indicators which are taking place, 7.8% inflation, and what could be the reason for that, what are the measures that need to be taken. If you were advising the finance minister, what steps would you advise? And also the Reserve Bank of India suddenly had to change many of the rates, so that was also resulting out of the inflationary tendencies. Monetary policy, fiscal policy, all these things. Coming to some of the specific questions, now before that, electrical engineering, naturally you have to understand every bit of electrical engineering. What exactly, I asked you about multiple of voltage, why 11 multiple, and many questions attached to the electrical engineering. Prepare them well, and there may be a panelist who may be having a very good knowledge about electrical engineering. Then chess, many questions have been asked, so you would be aware about them. And cricket also, commercialization of cricket and so on, IPL, test cricket. What are the different ways in which a batsman can be out? Even questions like that can be asked. And then Sardar Patel's dream of a civil service and a civil servant, what qualities does he see? This you read very carefully, because this is the service you are aspiring for. Okay. And then after that, you can talk about, if they ask you that what do you think should be the qualities of a civil servant, then you can talk about integrity and honesty and efficiency and effectiveness, empathy, compassion, and so on. Then the Prime Minister's visit recently to the European nation, and now impending visit to Nepal, why it is important. Last visit to Bangladesh, why it was important. Situation developing in Sri Lanka, Afghanistan, the Taliban government, and also in Myanmar, the military. So, what do you think should be the India's stance towards these two countries? So, India and its neighbors, study them well, and also India's ties with other big countries like China, United States, US, and also understand the role of the United Nations institutions. Are they effective? Why were they not successful in ensuring that the war does not take place? And similarly, the role of WHO in the COVID-19, role of UNESCO, role of International Labour Organization, so on, all those institutions, you understand them. What are Bretton Woods institution, role of IMF, World Bank? There is a talk of about IMF loan to Sri Lanka and so on. So what is that? ADB again.
Yes, sir.
So this is about this, and then read about good governance and also citizen-centric administration. Now, the question was asked regarding your name and strategic advantage and tactical advantage. What is the difference?
Yes, sir.
These are some of the very important terms which are used, and therefore you should understand the free trade agreement and a customs union, a role of geography in Ukraine, Russia war, and history of India is substantially influenced by geography, which again is a very famous adage. And then UN report on our common future. So these are some of the things: sustainable development uh, and rise in temperature, what is going to take place. And if we can limit the temperature rise to 1.5 degrees, probably we'll be able to save some flora, fauna, and the sea life and the biodiversity and so on. And so this is about almost all the things. And then the questions was asked regarding the battery,
Yes,
the
sir.
electrical, since you are electrical engineer, and about the law of sedition. They may ask you about the recent incident regarding Punjab government police taking one particular person from
Yes, sir.
Delhi, Bagga. What is the legality of it, and so on. And that we can talk about some like marital rape, hijab controversy, Ayodhya verdict. So all these issues, some of which may be controversial also, but you
Yes,
have
sir.
to take care that you don't come out with a provocative answer to any question which are controversial or tricky questions. Always give both the sides of the answer,
Yes, sir.
and if they ask for your opinion, then remain on the right side of the government. Okay,
Yes, sir.
come out with answers in order of priority so that the most important part of the answer comes first. And then questions were asked about the background of the enactment pertaining to Sedition Act, and geography can be a bane or boon again. So large number of questions. For example, here also you came out with a good answer, and many other questions also. So overall, you are good,
Yes, sir.
and you can be outstanding. There is no doubt about it.
Yes, sir.
And have this feeling, have a positive feeling that in the next 7 days, if you start working on some of these areas, I can assure you, you will end up with very good marks. Okay,
Yes, sir.
your communication skills are fine, your mental alertness is fine, you are able to assess a question fairly well, balance of judgment is there, you're calm and otherwise composed,
Yes,
and also your articulation skills are fairly good. So everything is in your favor, and have a positive outlook that here a chance has come to me, first attempt,
yes, sir.
and I should be able to crack this examination.
Yes, sir.
If you have any questions, you can ask.
No, sir, everything is catered.
You are good.
Yes,
Don't
sir.
worry.
Have confidence, don't worry, you will do very well.
Yes, sir.
You will get very good marks.
Thank you, sir.
Just your otherwise your fundamentals are fine. A little bit of knowledge here and there would help you a great deal. Some of the issues which were asked regarding education, and district administration prepare very well.
Yes, sir.
Role of the collector prepare very well. And Panchayati Raj institutions. These are some of the areas which are often asked. Okay. But rest assured,
Yes, sir.
have confidence what we are telling you that you will do very well.
Thank you, sir. Yes, sir.
All the best.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am.
All the best.
Unacademy. Let's crack it.